And let's see. Are we live? Are we live? We are live. All right, cool. Welcome. Um, I'm excited to have everybody. Thank you for tuning in, especially if you got in early. If you're a Sorare FP member, which if you're here this early, you likely are, thank you so much. Uh, you guys make this so much fun for me, and I'm very happy to be doing this. So, let's see. Let us go over the news of the day so far. We're going to start with the Portland Trailblazers and what's going on there. So let's share you the Excel sheet of doom, the Excel sheet of fun. All right, here we are. Okay, so if you've never seen this before, here's everything. Here's the whole sheet. Let's go ahead and just take a look at Portland. So Damian Lillard is out on rest. Jeremy Grant is out on rest. So you see them zeroed out. Yusuf Nurkic is zeroed out. Justice Winslow, Anthony Simons, they're all out. So because this is a really unique game week here, um, what we have is split projections. Uh, the way I have this set up is Monday through Thursday gives us a score, and Friday through Sunday gives us a score. That way we can kind of scout ahead, things of that nature. But because lock is on a Thursday this week, we have just the Thursday projections here and just the Sunday projections here, Friday through Sunday, the weekend on the side. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to give us some projections for the Blazers that are getting boosted tonight, and some of the Blazers that will return to their bench roles in a different day. Like if you see Drew Eubanks, his upside score is pretty much the same. He's not expected to get a whole lot different. Whereas Keon Johnson, now his minutes, they're projecting high on both games because the minutes are going to be spread over both. It's just the way of the spreadsheet. It's harder to project minutes down the line, so generally I use their most recent minutes and in their last five to kind of see how things change. So actually, um, the projected score for Johnson is higher later in the week because I believe that the Blazers are playing the Rockets, so that's a better matchup. So on these minutes, he would actually be in a better space. But tonight it's who we got. I don't even I don't even know who we got playing tonight. Let's see. Where's Portland? All right, they got Sacramento, so that's a decent team, um, and that's why it's lesser of a matchup. Unfortunately, we can't really look at where Keon was projected prior to this, but currently looking at a 7x projection. Um, that's good, and it'll work in underdog. I bought him. I bought his limited just because I had a little bit of ETH left over, and tossed him into underdog. Not going to make a huge difference probably unless you have the perfect other three guys in champ, but he's over 20 points, so over 20 projected, so I'd play him. Projections are only going to tell us so much here on the Blazers because I do adjustments for uh, distributed usage. So I do go in when a player is out and factor in how another player's usage will change in that circumstance. And unfortunately, we don't have more than, I don't know, 70 minutes of these guys all playing without Lillard, without Grant, without Nurkic, without Winslow, without Simons, without Josh Hart, who was traded. Um, this lineup hasn't played together, so unfortunately, we're going to get a little bit of rudimentary projections and usage projections, especially. But the guys who really popped when I was entering it in were Nas Little and Shaden Sharp. They got big boosts. Trenton and Watford didn't get a huge boost, but he got a decent one. And then, like I said, Eubanks didn't really get a huge bump. But basically, all these guys are great players. I kind of glossed over Matisse Thybulle. He is more of a accumulator over the course of minutes. So I don't expect him to have a huge game. I don't think he's just going to go out there and score like crazy. So, um, I mean, play him. All these guys are basically sitting on a 2x. I mean, Archie Diacono could very well 9x because he's on a 1. Jabari Walker's in a nice spot. Cam Reddish is okay. But it's roulette with most of these dudes. If you just said L10 notwithstanding, who are you going to play? I would probably play Nas Little. I think he's one of the better players here. Shaden Sharp has not impressed me yet. I think he's still too young and too raw. Perhaps he proves me wrong tonight with some playing time. Eubanks is the other one. I don't know that he's going to get a ton more usage. But maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe just some pick and roll opens up. But the good chance here is that Portland gets absolutely smashed, and it doesn't really matter. So I don't know. It's tough when teams get this thin. It's tough to really know um, what's going on. Just checking the news really quick to make sure we're not missing anything. Terry Rozier probable for Friday. Kelly Oubre probable for Friday. That's probably bad for me because I think I'm playing Gordon Hayward somewhere. But anyway, yeah, that's Portland. It's an interesting situation. We kind of have these things that we do when players are ruled out. Um, Also, let me know. Can you guys see the? Can you actually see the spreadsheet? Is it clear? How is it coming through? Because I might have to change some of this stuff up a little bit. This is our first time, as I said. So, um, let me know if I need to bug somebody about the picture quality. Okay. So yeah, Portland. We have things that we do when this sort of thing happens, and it's not all terribly intuitive. Um, it's not all necessarily capturing some of the other aspects of what happens. And when these sorts of things happen, we're like, oh my God, all of these guys have all these minutes open up. And uh, then they get smashed. They score 80 points. No one does enough to like severely multiply their L10s, and it just doesn't end up a good play. So, so yeah, that's Portland. Now that everybody's probably here, let me go over some of my favorite plays of the week. So what I do, I should probably sort by points added today as well, and just kind of parse these out. But um, if you squint, you can see it. Oh no, that's not what I like to hear. All right, let me see if I can change something a little bit here. That is upsetting. Mm-mm-mm. Doing it live, folks. We're doing it live. Looking. All right. There doesn't seem to be anything I can do about that currently. I'll have to go back and look at things. I don't know if that's an issue with my streaming service or what's going on. I'm actually gonna really quick pop over to Twitch and see how it looks over there. Let's see. Oh, it looks good on Twitch. Maybe head over there. But I can also, if that's what it is, I can zoom in. So um, let me do that actually. Can we zoom? No. How about we go 125? Maybe that'll make some things a little more legible for the audience. Let's go 133. Okay, that's a little more clear. Hopefully that works. Looking great on an iPad. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you guys for letting me know. Like I said, this is the first time. So I'm about to dive into Some of my favorite plays of the week. This is sorted by points added on Friday. Um, I am going to build a lineup or show you how I build a lineup coming up here in a second. I know that all of this stuff can be a little overwhelming, all of my spreadsheet. That's why I tried to add these at the top to kind of tell you what we're laying out, and then it unnecessarily added some things that I have not yet pulled out. But anyway, Luka Doncic on a 49, fantastic. Tyrese Halliburton actually on a 39. I'm gonna scroll over so you can look at the numbers that are actually sorting here. But like, look at the difference here. There's a nice bunch of players who are like projected to outscore their L10 by 20, and then Halliburton's projected by 35, and Doncic is projected by 41, which that is operating on a lot of pre-Kyrie numbers, and it's not terribly telling, but we know what Luka can do, so we don't really need a projection for him most. He's like the one guy where it's like, all right, we don't really need a projection because we know what he's capable of. And he's capable of it with Kyrie. We'll just see how often it happens. But yeah, it's him, and then Halliburton really separates himself. And it's actually a higher number over here for tonight's game. Um, the matchup is insane. Um, it's against Boston. Let me pull this up. I have some numbers as to why, like, because I saw this projection. I'm like, why is he projecting like so much higher now? If you have Tyrese Halliburton in any scarcity, I would play him. But let's see, where's our guy here? Halliburton against uh, against like assist heavy point guards. Halliburton projects to shoot 50% more often. Now, is Marcus Smart a is he an assist heavy point guard? Perhaps not. He's pretty defense forward, so that might actually be an inefficiency in the point the multipliers I have just instituted actually just this week. Some position versus position adjustments. So I guess kind of after realizing that it's Smart, I would say maybe play him with care. I do love him. I do love Halliburton this week. I would play him, but it is Marcus Smart, and given why things are multiplying in the projections and what's actually going on, maybe that's not a guy you want to play. Uh, Keon Johnson right here on a 3. Again, we talked about that. I mean, he's supposed to start, play 22 minutes. I believe we have him for 22 minutes. Let me take a gander just to make sure. All right, no, we actually have him for 11 minutes, so that changes things quite a bit. Let's update minutes really quickly, as I will. This is always going to be the thing that's tough, is I'm going to have to do these sorts of things live. I can't show exactly how it works. Okay, let's see if we get a huge change here on Keon Johnson. Nope. He's still projected the same. 11 minutes, I don't think he's actually going to do that much. I still think he's a fantastic play. Let's see, other values. Mark Williams, he's just still too low for the amount of time that he's going to play for Charlotte. We expect him to play, another 30 minutes. He is playing Rudy Gobert and Minnesota, so maybe that gives him a little more trouble. Matchups are a huge deal. They should and are factored in here. But he's still just getting more time and scores too much per minute. He's too high a point per minute score to really not outperform that 22. Like he's too hot. He's too good for that. I know he's not a world beater, but 22 is pretty low when you're playing pretty much the whole game. Jordan Clarkson, you know what Jordan Clarkson's going to do. He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot a lot. And his upside projection is actually docked by the amount that he shoots. His true shooting percentage is not terribly high, but he's going to get even more usage with Colin Sexton out. Um, I don't even, let me look at their starting lineup really quick, or at least what's projected for them tonight. Yeah, so it's going to be Jordan Clarkson, Udoka Azubuike, I know I butchered that, Lauri Markkanen, Kelly Olynyk, and Walker Kessler. That's going to be the starting lineup for the Jazz tonight against Oklahoma City, who, is fine. So it's going to be Markkanen and Clarkson pretty much shooting there. Azubuike, um, he's a fine underdog play, but he's not getting a ton of that usage. He's probably just like, all right, pass to Jordan Clarkson, and Jordan Clarkson's going to shoot. So I love him in that position. All of the impediments to Jordan Clarkson doing Jordan Clarkson stuff, they are off the table here. Um, so I expect him to shoot plenty. And again, it's the Thunder. It's not like Lou Dort is probably, I don't know, might have to chase Markkanen around. You got Jalen Williams and Jalen Williams starting for Oklahoma City. So, uh, yeah, I think Dort just has to guard Markkanen because there's too much size elsewhere. And, like, you're not going to have Josh Giddey guard Markkanen. You're not going to have Shea guard Markkanen. So, I don't know. Dort's like 6'6", and Markkanen's like 7 foot. So that'll be interesting. I might have to league past that if I'm up at 9 o'clock tonight. I keep thinking it's Friday because it's lock day and I can't stay up that late. All right, a couple other ones I love. Darius Garland's L10's just too low. Those Cavs guards are always going to be kind of tough because a lot of times they play without the other. Um, and we've seen them both go off without the other. We've seen Donovan Mitchell mostly be the one who's going off for the Cavs with Darius Garland in. But I mean, there was a game recently where Mitchell sat, and all of a sudden um, Garland just took over. Like Mitchell was healthy, Mitchell was playing, and then they just decided to sit him because Garland was playing so well. So it's a bit of a dice roll. He has upside even with Mitchell, but I don't know. 36 is a little low for what he can do. If you have him, I like him. But again, like I'm sorting by upside here, so if you see the difference between their upside and their like median projection, it's not he's not adding a ton. Whereas you look at Nas Little down here on a 12, gonna get a ton more minutes. His median projection, like you'd be shocked if he doesn't put up around a 28, whereas like Garland, that's a +5, and that's what these numbers are over here. These are the points added. Um, Naslo expected to put up 16. Thibault, again, Blazers, Blazers, Blazers. Here's one I hate. Dylan Brooks on a 19. Median added score is 7 points. That's great. His upside or his weighted projection is 31. He is frustrating as hell, and I can't stand playing him. He is one of the least efficient volume shooters, if not the least efficient volume shooter in the NBA. I think that has a lot to do with his inflated projection. He can shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and he will miss and miss and miss and miss. Play Dylan Brooks if you want. Don't be mad when it hurts you. But on a 19, like, it's one of those things where, like, what are you gonna do? You gonna Who else are you gonna run out there at 19? You can Taylor Horton Tucker. How much higher of an upside is he going to have than Brooks, and on way fewer minutes? So yeah, go ahead with that. Jokic is Jokic, Harden's Harden. DeMar DeRozan is back to frustrate the hell out of me again. I've recently changed these rankings. Here's the weekend rankings over here. Um, I altered some of the weights of the rankings to make things come back to earth. If you've been using our projections for a while, you know that like the upside was like, here is their absolute upside. We got a lot of hundreds. Now, basically, we're weighting things a little bit differently. So um, you're seeing them a little more in line with normal scoring. And DeMar DeRozan's still um, projects really well despite those adjustments that were adjusting for shot volume, which is something you see with him, and shot efficiency, which, again, volume shooters generally don't do well with that. But they projected well because of how much they were being multiplied on the case that they would just go out and shoot X standard deviations above, league average and their own average, and that's what was causing those high scores. He's still scoring high, so I'm rolling with him. I'm gonna run him out there again. Let's see any other guys who stand out. I mentioned Horton Tucker, Killian Hayes is a nice spot. Detroit guys are gonna have to adjust a bunch to their L10s. James Wiseman being one of those guys. I love James Wiseman on a 13. I believe I have him in my champion lineup. And then Isaiah Joe, another guy who has a much higher upside projection than his median projection. The way I use this a lot of times is I will sort by best game, and I'll just do today, for example. I'll go up to the top. So, like, here are the guys who are, you expect them to, like, really outscore no matter what. These are, like, plug and play guys who they're just straight up projecting better than their L10 median. So you can rely on them even if their upside score is a little lower. But when you sort by that and then you see a guy like Luke who's like, oh, he could also go 51 over his L10 as, an upside or a weight, or like Anthony Davis. It's not surprising to see some of these guys here, Jordan Poole, Domantas Sabonis, but like sometimes you see these guys way up here and then their upside really isn't that much more, or in Nas Little's case is lower because he's inefficient. You can do that. And then the other thing too is you can sort by upside, which is what I was doing, but then you see some of these guys like, all right, Kyrie probably going to score right around his L10, but could just go off. And that's just a risk you're willing to take. So I'm going to use that to kind of transition into how I go about building my lineups. First things first is I head over to soraredata.com. Let me clear out some of my lineups that I've already made, and I'll show you what I do. If you're not using soraredata.com's lineup builder, then do it. It's fantastic. It's now optimizing. It doesn't use my projections. They have a different way of projecting upside, and they don't really line up a ton with mine, and that's fine because it's nice to have different projection sets. I use mine. I swear by mine. I've had success with mine, so I keep relying on it. So I guess I should just share my screen here instead of this, because I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between a couple of things here. So let's make sure that we can see everything. Okay. Let me make sure my preview is lagging behind a little bit, so I have to make sure you can see both. But so I'm going to, okay, you can't see both. I'm going to go over to the My Gallery tab, and then I am going to go to my rares. Excuse this mismatch. And I am going to sort by points added, upside. Now that I have this all crammed down, it's not letting me do what I normally do. Okay. Okay. One little change happened. But okay. So here's how I normally build my lineup. I go here on the lineup builder and I choose what competition that I'm prioritizing. I have some of the horses for rare champion, so that's where I'll go. That's what I prioritize. So I pick that. Then I go over to my sheet here. I have values on the side. Values basically are going to tell you, and I use, again, the third column, so that's going to be the upside score. You can use best or average if you'd like. It's not how I use it, but James Wiseman in this case is the best value on either side. Value is just a quick, like, if a guy has an outlier like this, like James Wiseman's a 1.8, my next best is Damian Lillard at a 1.49. This is the weekend. He's still projecting to play against the Rockets, and he's going to project well against the Rockets. So I look at the value, I see how much he stands out. Now, if you look at a value of like Keon Johnson, he's at like a 9. He's supposed to, this is like your X, this is your multiplier. So I'm expecting James Wiseman, if he hits his upside score, we'll look at a close to a 2x. A 2x for Keon Johnson on a 3 is not the same as a 2x for James Wiseman on a 13. To win a card in Champion, I need my worst guy to score at least 20 points. So I generally use that as a cutoff. Wiseman, we're looking at a 23. So I'm okay with that. So what I'm going to do here on the left side is I'm going to find Mr. Wiseman, and I'm going to lock him in my lineup. I want him in my lineup. Now, I would use Dame here, but because he's on one game, I don't want to risk it. And actually, what I found in building my lineups earlier is that I like my lineup more without him. So I'm going to go with Shea, and then let's see. So, like, this is where everything's kind of bunched up, and I don't really want to use the value. Like, the difference between 1.42 and 1.44 is not gigantic, so that's not where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go back over to the points added. It's already sorted by that, except Gordon Hayward. I don't know why it's doing this. I haven't fixed it in my sheet yet. Please don't pay attention to it. But so if you look at the points added, this is what I'm talking about with Johnson and um, with Wiseman. Johnson on a 2x adds 3 points because he's L10 a 3. Wiseman on a 2x adds 13 points because he's on a 13. If you just shove value in, or if you just automate by value here, you get a lot of those, like, oh, you're the guy on a 1 who's going to score a 4. Like, don't you want 4x in your lineup? It's like, no, I don't need 3 points out of one of my 5 spots. So what you look at with points added is like, okay, so the difference between Shea on a, what is he, 50, something like that, 49. If he's just at 1.42x, he's adding 20 points. But DeMar DeRozan on a 1.44 is only adding 14 points. Who do I want? I want the 6 more points, but I also want to maximize the lineup. So I just pick out the outlier. I see that it's Shea, and it's a 20. So I'm going to lock him in my lineup. Okay, I have my MVP. I have my best value. Now you can just have it complete the lineup. Now I just want to make sure there's no one else that I really want to shove in here. Again, Jimmy Butler upside score on a 40. We're looking at this 53 right here. I mean, all these scores I'm talking about are right here. So, DeMar DeRozan on a 33, giving me 14 is going to give me 47. So I can kind of decide between the two. So let's see what the best lineups look like with each. Let's start with DeRozan. My thought is, yeah, if I can take DeRozan on a lower L10 and still get the same amount of points added, maybe I get more elsewhere. So I'm just going to say complete the lineup. Let them do the heavy lifting for me. It's a little busted because I have it on half screen. Let me pull it up. All right. I like to sort by upside because I'll see their upside scores. Okay, so I'm looking at Jared Allen and Drew Holiday along with those 3. Let's say I don't like. All right, I'm going to go back to here. I have 10 added points here and just 1 added for Allen. So I don't really want Jared Allen in my lineup based on the sorts of things that I care about. So I'm going to discard him. Now it's like, all right, Butler, DeRozan, Bogey. But I have 4 points left over. Do I really want DeRozan here? Who do I have higher on my sheet? Because now the two guys I'm considering are in the lineup together. I know Bogey is a guy who projects well for me. He's right here. But I have Drew Holiday scoring 47.7 points, and I have DeMar DeRozan scoring 47.58. Um, all right, pretty much a toss up. So my question there is, who has more games? DeRozan, 2 this weekend. Drew, 2 this weekend. Drew without one earlier. Okay, so both of them have 2. Okay, what's our next tiebreaker? Lord, I don't know. Best game, I think, is where I would go. So we're looking at a 44 for Jimmy. So this is their median projection. It's right above him, 41. So, or sorry, Drew. So actually, the best game is 1 point in favor of DeRozan. This is where I have to kind of go off script. So, who of the two has more variance? It's probably DeRozan, right? The other question I have here is, what do my other lineups look like? In this case where they're basically even, I'm going to use the guy who has a higher L10. If this is where I'm settled and like I can't optimize this better than this. If I can't go up from bogey to, I don't have anyone because I don't have anyone in 34. I know I want to play Wiseman. I like Butler here. I could go away from Butler. Look at Holiday. All of a sudden, I could play Allen, which is a lineup we already looked at, but I don't like Allen based on my projections. So yeah, I'm just going to go with this. And I think that's what I have sitting in my lineup already. Okay, yeah. So the reason I do that is because I will have a better chance fitting DeRozan into a different lineup. And you're probably going to see right here. No, you're not. I don't have him in here. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this whole thing over. So obviously, I'd like DeRozan. On a contender, we're looking for another really good value. I see Malik Beasley relative to some of these other guys down here. I really like him. I unfortunately have to check the rest of the week. Yeah, so he's the guy who stands out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Beasley. Looks like. By the way, any questions on your lineups, drop them in the chat. That's what we're here for, and I will give you my best answer. All right, so we are going to lock in Beasley. I'm gonna head on back. Who do we got points added wise? We got DeRozan. Used half these guys. Brunson's gonna be too much. There's Beasley. Ben Mathurin stands out a good bit. 5 points added on 22. He's got some good upside, so we're gonna go ahead and actually, let's just see what they give us. I am not using Kendrick Williams, I can tell you that much. Over Ben Mathurin, huh? Are we not using Mathurin? Because of, yeah, there it is. Okay. This one's actually kind of easy. Because Mathurin and Barnes were right together, and DeRozan was my highest player left, and we already know that Watford's projecting well. So, uh, I don't really need to spend much time here. This is a lock of my lineup, and I guarantee you that that's what's in my contender anyway. There you go. Under 23 is just a bunch of throwaways. I don't have the horses for this. I don't have a Luka. I don't have a Ja. I don't have any number of those guys. So these lads are churning XP. All right, let's check the news. Marvin Bagley's out. Not much going on with anything else. A very slow news night. Oh, Jamal Murray's in. That's actually helpful to know. Okay. So yeah, that's how I build lineups. Let's see. We got about 17 minutes until lock. So any lineup questions, any strategy questions, any projections questions, any questions about the Discord, any of that, go ahead and toss it out. Otherwise, I'll just keep looking at lineups. But Drop it in the comments. If you are subscribed to Sorare FP on YouTube, you are allowed to add a comment. That's how you get those there. So please, please let me know what's on your mind. Let's see. So here are all my teams, by the way. I don't need to go through building the rest. I don't know why these are completely out of order. They used to be in order of scarcity. Um, but yeah, I talked about this team, underdog. Got my Keon Johnson in there. Got my Sextonless Jazz players right there. Clarkson figures in somewhere down here. Eubanks, I talked about him. Ty Washington, actually, for the Rockets. They are beat up. Their two best swingmen are out. Jalen Green is out. Um, and Kevin Porter is out. Um, So yeah, that actually opens up Ty Washington. It opens up Josh Christopher. It opens up KJ Martin, and then Jabari Smith and Alperen Sengun are going to do their thing. Um, the the thing about this game is, well, I got to get Jalen Green on my contender, huh? I don't know what I'm going to do with this spot. Screw it. Just going to give me a card I can't use. Bozy, you want a link to my Discord? Let me add a quick training lineup here and I'll get that to you. It is subscriber only at this point. There you go in the chat. It's the $10 version is how you get into the Discord. That's how you get the news. We have a ton of great players in there. Constantly talking strategy, showing each other our rewards. Obviously, we love that. And also, you get baseball for free. Baseball coming back very, very soon. That actually is my favorite Sorare experience. So I'm pretty hyped actually for that. So you get basketball and you get baseball for the same $10 a month. You can get the projections for 5, and then I have a couple of explainer videos. Um, that explain the spreadsheet. I know I had the spreadsheet up and it was a little convoluted, so just know that I have some ways to describe it. And again, like it's here it is again for those of you out there. But if you have any questions, Bozy, if you have any questions right now about your lineup or who projects well, feel free to toss them out there. This is normally paywalled information, and I'm going to give it out on this show every Friday and Monday when I do this. Hopefully, it's not going to be every week, but um, here we are. So let's see. Anyone else who stands out? Let's see who is projecting super well for just tonight's games. Keon, I mean, we talked about Portland. Franz Wagner is actually pretty surprising. Wasn't I just dogging on him over here? Oh no, I was dogging on him because the difference between his upside and his median was pretty much the same. Ty Bull, yeah, a lot of Portland, tonight. Anthony Davis, if he plays, he's probable. He and LeBron both probable. Get a couple of Spurs. They're still kind of adjusting to some trades. When I say they're adjusting, I mean their L10s are coming back up. Collins is about where I expect him to be. Basie, I don't know. I don't know enough about him. By the way, Bozy, you asked about the Discord. Um, when you sign up, you have to link your Discord with Patreon, and that gets you automatically into the Patreon itself. I know we've had a couple of issues with that. All right. Jordan Poole, still no Steph. You're going to see him get a ton of usage. I'm surprised that his L10 has not crept up a ton. Sabonis, unsurprising. Landlord, looking pretty good. Is Horford out? What's going on in Boston? Gallinari's not in. Oh, but he starts alongside Horford. All right, maybe just the high points per minute player. Halliburton, we talked about him. Love him. Median projection is not great, but his upside is unlike anyone other than Luca and AD. And that's just tonight. Eubanks, another Portland guy. Love Pascal this week on a 40. Talked about Hayes and Brooks a little bit. I like Paolo. Ochai Obaji. I butchered that again. Ochai selected by my Cavs and dealt for Donovan Mitchell, who was funny enough right up here. Um, should get a decent amount of time. Like, he is the guy I would expect to really change things for the Jazz tonight instead of, you know, instead of a guy like Simone Fontecchino, who you saw in my underdog when I was looking at that a little bit. So, oh, there he is right there, actually. Yeah. +7, again, on a 5 is a little different than, +7 on a 10. It's actually 5 points different, believe it or not. So, I like Baji. I like his opportunity more. He can hit threes. He scores in punches. So, who else on the weekend? Any other names that really stand out here? I know I'm gonna be sad that I didn't play Lillard. Um, I know he's just gonna end up torching the Rockets on one game and be like, I'm an idiot. Realistically, I've talked about this. I have a video on risk. Um, I think it actually makes sense to play Lillard and some of those other Portland guys. Like, if you have them and you think Lillard comes out and drops bombs, like, especially if you're playing it, like, you can play your value Blazers for tonight and contender and Lillard in champion. But, like, if you play Nas Little and Matisse Thybulle and they go off tonight and you play him with Lillard, um, in champ as your MVP and he goes off this weekend against the Rockets, then no one else is going to have that lineup. So, like, you're not going to have to worry about power and stuff. That's more of a DFS thing than a Sorare thing. But it's worth considering. All right, Halliburton still all the usual suspects. Oh, I actually sorted by score, not added the score. So you're going to see all these dogs up here. All right. It's Keon again. I wouldn't pay attention to him. Yeah, Devin Booker. Devin Booker might be the best play on this slate. Huge added points just for his median and very big added points for his upside. Now, is he still getting his limited minutes limited? I don't know. I don't think so. Let's pull this up really quick. I'm looking at some lineup stuff off screen just because it's paywalled information from RotoWire, and I don't want to upset anyone from RotoWire. So I am just going to say it, but um, I don't want to. I don't want to upset anyone. All right, so Booker, yeah, he played 35 minutes last game. Like, if he's playing his full load, then run him out there. That's a great spot for him, honestly. Yeah, +26, and he's only on a 31 because he's been on that minutes limit, so he's suppressed. Like, this is the time. If you have a Devin Booker, this is the time to play him. He's gonna come out gunning, especially before Durant gets back, which is Sunday. Maybe it's next week. They came out with news like at multiple times. Speaking of news, nothing new. It's been quiet. Coming back from the All Star break, this has been one of the quietest lock days that we've had. Jaren Jackson always projects very well for me. There's Mark Williams. I talked about him. Chris Middleton is another one who's been playing limited minutes, but you know what he can do. Like, he can go nuts. And, +10 is really nice on a median. But I don't know, man. Let's look at his scores over on Sorare data really quick now that we're talking about it. Okay. Chris. How you doing, Chris? I needed him so badly for vets recently, and yeah, he's not going super above and beyond. Like, what's his L10 right now? 26, yeah, like you're looking at a +9 at best, so he hasn't really hit that upside quite yet. Meh. Talked about Nas Little. Joshua Koji, this one has confused me for a second. So he's been putting up monster numbers recently. Yeah, he played 32 minutes, 35 minutes, 39 minutes, and 41 minutes. And then Terrence Ross played. Wait, Terrence Ross played 25 minutes last game? Do I have him projecting for anything? Oh, hold up. I gotta change my whole thing over here. I might have to make a. You're seeing it live here. I might have to make a big change. What are we doing? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. So they play this weekend. We got him projected for 12 minutes? I don't know why he's not popping up on my gallery. I gotta fix that. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know why that's happening. Maybe we just don't really know what his minutes are gonna look like. Let's see. What do we got on? I can't look. What does RotoWire say? Do, do, do. 5 minutes until lock. Any questions? Ask away. All right. Terrence Ross. Nada. He played 25 minutes last game. What are we doing? Yeah, they got him for 12 as well. Oh boy, I think I'm gonna be upset. I think I'm gonna be sad that I did not play Terrence Ross for the first time in my life. First time I'd be sad, not first time I didn't play him. What did he do last game? 28. That's a mind-blowing score from Terrence Ross. Damn. Hmm. Let's take a gander really quick. I'm not unseating any of these dudes to get Terrence Ross in my lineup. Oh, it's gonna kill me. All right. So there was that. Anyone else? Okoji. That's how I got on that. Yeah, he's just playing monster minutes, and he's just an accumulator. He does so much defensively. There's Tybull again. Debo. Markkinen's in a good spot. Killian Hayes again. Jeremy Grant, if he actually plays, projects really well. Just play an all Blazers lineup. Just do it. Just play Lillard and Grant together. Hope they go off on the weekend and get the other guys. It's as simple as that. Easy game. Franz Wagner, Yusuf Nurkic. There's another one. Get +10 out of him. Yeah, I don't see anyone else projecting like crazy. So we'll take you up here to lock, but we got 2 minutes. So yeah, that's me. Went through my projections, went through my team building, went through the news. Not a ton today. Hopefully we'll scramble a little bit at a different time. And my guy Ace wondering why Terrence Ross was so low. I don't know, man. I'm not the only one. Like my minutes are the same as RotoWire's, and I don't know. I don't know why he's. I don't know. It does make me feel good sometimes when my projections are super low, and then everyone else's are too. But yeah, Terrence Ross, bewildering. So yeah, next time hopefully it's a little more fun. Hopefully we're scrambling for news, and then I'm having to do all my millions of things live on air, and I'll just get flustered. That'll make for a better show. But yeah, that's how I build my lineups. That's how I use my spreadsheet. And if you want the projections, head on over to patreon.com/SorareFP. $5 for the projections per month. That's 8 game weeks of projections for baseball and basketball when it comes back. Baseball when it comes back. Basketball currently. 10 for the Discord, and I can't recommend that enough. But Also, we'll have free content here on the YouTube channel. I recommend if you really want to become a hard and fast Sorare player, head on over there and kind of we talk about this stuff all the time. How to build lineups. We have multiple differing opinions. Ace, who I just shouted out, and just was wondering about Terrence Ross. He won the damn thing recently. Won veterans that I said I was searching for, and I'd like to think I helped him out a little bit with that. Pocketed himself a boy. He got himself a Jason Tatum rare. Flip that and a couple other things for Luka Doncic. That's a dream. That's like legit the Sorare NBA dream. Win someone, get Luka, or just win Luka. But all right, we got 5 seconds. It's lock time. Thank you everybody for joining me. If you stayed here for the long haul, I'm very very appreciative as we have officially passed lock. Um, and thank you, Santa's boys. Um, yeah, more content coming up. I got MLB content coming up. Always gonna have NBA. NBA keeps me busy. But if you could, before you get out of here, if you haven't liked the video, we're at 10 likes. That's more than I expected. If you haven't liked the video, please do. It helps us out greatly. Subscribe to the channel, and you get plenty of this stuff. So that's it. That's it. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in.